Hello and welcome to Reddit on Reddit, the internet's auditory version of Reddit. I'm Nelson Allingham, joined by Michael Campbell.
Do you think, because you have that intro in your brain so thoroughly now, that if something, God forbid, happened to me, or we ended our friendship or something, but you wanted to keep going, you would just have to find someone else called Michael Campbell, and they would allow you to call them Cambo, so you didn't have to change your intro.
There already is one, isn't there?
Yeah. We've got a friend of ours. He also has a friend called Michael Campbell.
Yeah, I'll just
Also
get him.
called Cambo. I was also at the post office the other day, and I had to pick up a delivery, and they asked for my email address, which has the word Cambo in it.
Yeah.
And the guy behind me is like, "You're not Cambo. My brother's Cambo."
Oh, no.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
both can be true.
There's so many. You're so replaceable.
Honestly, look, there's nothing distinctive about my look.
Yeah.
There's nothing distinctive about my name. I could disappear at the drop of a hat.
Yeah. That's
And I will one day.
Oh, okay. I will too.
Yeah, well, yeah. I think we've signposted this podcast will just one day disappear.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. But rather than just stop the podcast, we will disappear from our friends and family.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. We'll be together.
Yeah.
So find one, find both, obviously, if you're looking for us.
Yeah. It's like it'll be a glorious day for the emergency rescuers when they find both of us at once. They're like, oh my God, I thought this was going to be a separate thing. Glad we found them together. They were just at the shops. Gamba, let's get into it.
Please.
This first one is by Yellowtail Cab Sav. And it was in the subreddit Melbourne, which makes sense if your username is Yellowtail Cab Sav, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
This is a picture of a newspaper clipping, and it's pretty old. I'm pretty sure I've even seen this before. But it's the title of this is I Think About Magnus Daily. Does anyone know him? I need to know what he's up to. And this newspaper clipping is a question that they've clearly asked some like toddlers. And they've given their response. They've got a little picture of them, their name, their age, and what they said. The question was, how would you make Melbourne a better place? Lily, 4, has said, by being a Barbie or princess and playing with lots of arts and crafts.
Yeah, fair enough.
Selfish, I think.
Okay.
How would you make Melbourne a better place? She's like, well, I need to be a Barbie or princess. I think that's pretty selfish, Lily, when you think about it. Like, what do you contribute to Melbourne as a Barbie or princess?
But Melbourne prides itself on being very cultural, right? We have a lot of festivals and art stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that extends to sometimes you walk around and you're like, oh, there's the guy with the silent disco and everyone's dancing or whatever. It's a bit kooky.
Oh.
You see a princess walking down the street, down Swan Street or something. You're like, that's fun.
Yeah. I feel like Lily would want to be the type of princess where she uses taxpayer money to buy herself elaborate gifts and, in fact, avoid the public at all costs.
Like every princess.
Yeah,
I gotcha.
Abjubar, also 4, said more zoos with lions in them and swimming with the sharks and dolphins.
Two's not enough.
Cool. Yeah, I think Abjubar, you've done all right for the question. How would you make Melbourne a better place? More zoos, swimming with sharks and lions.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
About
Swimming with the sharks and lions. Oh, my God.
at the same time.
That would be wild.
Yeah. I'd be more scared swimming with a shark than a lion. Swimming with a shark, he's going to get me. A lion's probably thinking too much about surviving the swimming to be going after me,
I think there's part of me that would be more afraid of the lion.
Because what's he going to do?
Because I'm like,
he's
shark
lashing out.
could go anywhere. A lion's like, I'm feeling really uncomfortable right now. I'm going to latch on to the first thing I see. And that's me flailing about.
But this kid obviously thinking about, tourism. How to bring money into the city.
He's thought about it. He's thought about it. Magnus, also 4 years old. More magnets.
Yeah, okay.
Magnets are pretty cool.
Yeah. So you said this is a few years old, right?
Yeah, this is quite old.
Yeah.
Looks pretty great.
Let's say from the 90s, say. Like
Yeah.
maybe. I like to think Magnus, years and years later, still unhappy with the amount of magnets that are out there.
Yeah.
Sees the Apple keynote presentation in which they announced that all the new iPhones have magnets in the back.
Oh.
And he goes, now we're talking.
Oh, right.
Now we're talking.
He's like,
We're starting to get somewhere now.
in Melbourne, we've just got a few million more magnets, basically overnight.
It's like probably the most common phone, you'd say, maybe at least mine off.
Yeah.
So there would be millions of people.
Although
walk around
new ones
in
would take a while. Do you know what? It would be this is what will make the news. They'll be like, Magnus has bought everyone in Melbourne an iPhone. People don't know why.
Yeah.
But he's done it.
He's like, I'm just a fan. I can't say why of the MagSafe technology.
Yeah. Do you think
I'm working on something, and I have been since the 90s.
There's something suspicious about Magnus, I've just decided, actually. A guy that wants more magnets has some sort of knowledge about magnets that we don't have.
What if, you're speaking, but I wouldn't say you're necessarily the most eloquent. Mm-hmm. And what if he actually said more Magnus?
More Magnus. Yeah. That actually could be true.
Yeah, and they were like, more magnets, got it. Oh, what's your name? Magnus, not a problem.
Yeah,
and they hadn't connected.
Yeah, he's reading the paper and he's like, more magnets. What an idiot. I obviously said more Magnus. Or more Magni is what I should have said.
Get me in more parades. I'll be at the front of the Anzac parade this year.
Do you think that's even more nefarious if he's like, yes, clone me, more of me. that is what will make this place better. I will rule Melbourne.
Because by the way, his name is Magnus.
Magnus.
Which is the name of a villain.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you can imagine someone saying, I'm going to stop you, Magnus.
Yeah. It is the perfect name for a villain. And you know what? Whether he's going to take over the world, kill a lot of people with magnets, or just copies of himself, I'm intrigued.
But you can imagine like an M-type figure in MI6 saying to Bond, Magnus is struck again.
Yeah, that's right. Like, no, the cars in Melbourne can go anywhere because he's put these big magnets hanging over buildings. People try to drive down the street and they just get stuck to the magnets. It's a problem.
He must have watched that sequence in the latest Fast and Furious where they're flipping cars with magnets and going, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Maybe he's just a screenwriter now.
Yeah, I haven't checked the writing credits of that.
Yeah.
But it could be Magnus.
I bet you it's Magnus. It would be really wild if there were multiple credits for Magnus. Not the same person. Or is it? Okay, but let's move on to Ask Reddit. Ask Reddit. This Ask Reddit is by Firelord Momo. What film made you say, holy shit, there's still 50 minutes left?
I will admit, even though I enjoyed it, the latest Avatar.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
There was a moment where I think I realized that it was gearing up for the third act.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, boy. Yeah. Still a whole act of this movie to go.
Yeah.
And I don't say that in a bad... It's a very long movie. It's like 3 hours, 7 minutes.
Yeah.
But I do remember just having that distinct thing of like...
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we
go. You just readjust yourself in your seat a little bit. Like, all right, I gotta get 15 more minutes of trying to be comfortable here. Actually, with recent movies, then I think I recently saw Tar.
Yeah.
Oscar-nominated film. It's a pretty good film.
You've been trying to watch all the Oscar-nominated films, right? Or as many as you can.
Yes, yeah. Mainly.
What's your best favorite animated short so far?
Pinocchio.
Animated short.
Short. Yeah. They did a smaller version.
The trailer for Pinocchio.
There's the trailer for Pinocchio. No. Actually, Pinocchio wasn't very good.
So you're just trying to watch Best Picture nominations?
Just mainly Best Picture nominations with a few extras.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Best Picture, Tar. Oh boy. Okay, so you go in there knowing that it's a long film. That one's about 3 hours, I think.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, thereabouts.
Something like that.
Not quite, but yeah.
And then after, and it starts with a credit sequence.
Yeah, it does.
It starts with credits.
Well, look. Yeah, it does.
Not just like
credits,
opening title credits, like
the end credits.
like the end credits.
Yeah. To its credit, it's trying to do an overture. Which is obviously when you go see a musical performance or something, they play an overture, which is the musical themes of the whole thing played. So then later, and then you can recognize the thing from the overture.
Yeah,
but I think just because overtures are a couple minutes long, they're like, we may as well chuck credits on here, I guess.
Yeah.
We got time. A normal opening credit sequence might be a minute or two, but they've got like 6 minutes.
Yeah, it was after 2 minutes of credits. I was like, okay, this is gonna be a long movie. And then at no point does the movie ramp up. It's kind of like if you were just watching credits for 3 hours. It's pretty close to it. No, it's not that bad. It wasn't.
I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, you quite enjoyed it. I know Stacey did too. I just thought it was okay. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to now go into a review of Tar. I've decided.
Sure, okay.
But because the theme, I would say,
by the way, a movie about a disgraced composer.
Oh yes, true.
So as you can imagine, action
packed. There's one part where she falls over.
Yeah, that's
true. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. But one of the main themes, or if not the main theme, is like, can you separate art from artist?
Yeah.
She early on goes into like this speech with some students about Bach. Mm-hmm. Bach, yes, who had a lot of children, I think, with a lot of women. Mm-hmm. And one of the students is like, I can't appreciate his music or do any of his music. And she's like, why? Blah, blah, blah. And I think it was a really interesting conversation because I think that idea is that like discussion is really interesting in itself. Like,
and very much the theme of the movie.
Yeah, that's right. But it's like, it's something that obviously like doesn't necessarily have an answer and there's more nuances and whatnot. But I felt the movie just didn't really explore it in an interesting way at all. I felt like what they did was they chose a side of that argument and then just played that out. Uh-huh. Whereas I feel like it is more nuanced than that. Like the idea of Bach having multiple children. Yeah. Is that as bad as somebody else or like something that she's done? Or, there's like levels of like, how bad does a person need to be before you can't appreciate their art anymore? Yeah. And like, and I feel like they just didn't really explore that. And so that's what made me like a little bit disappointed. It's like I had high hopes and then it went. Yeah,
there's potentially an interesting conversation around modern Hollywood, say.
Yeah.
Your predator on the level of Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah,
like, quite irredeemably evil man.
Yeah.
And then there was also people around the same time during the Me Too movement that were getting cancelled for like having an affair.
Yeah.
Shitty thing to do.
Yeah.
Maybe not on the same level.
But like, do you? Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a road to forgiveness? Is there a road to comeback? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so we were rewatching last night Top Gun Maverick because it's sick.
Yeah. Yeah.
And at one point I did turn to Stacey. I'm like, it's incredible that Tom Cruise is so entertaining.
Yeah.
The world just forgives his crimes.
Yeah. Like, he's such a bad dude. That's like such a good example, right? Because like, how poorly he treated Katie Holmes.
His wife escaped him.
Yeah. Literally escaped him. And we're like, but Top Gun Maverick's so good.
Do you know he really flew that plane?
Yeah.
That's impressive, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, so bad. That honestly is one that like the world should probably wake up to and be like, hey, maybe stop giving Tom Cruise pass because he's actually not a nice guy.
Any Scientologist that has left the Church of Scientology and they're all like, oh, Tom Cruise is awful.
Yeah, exactly.
Just absolutely exploiting power. Yeah.
But
even they're like, I tell you what, though, Top Gun Mavericks, that's good.
It's good. I can't deny that. Yes. Anywho,
Hey, that was
my review of Tar. Okay, no, wait. I have another one because obviously this is implying maybe in general bad movies.
By the way, you said you thought that after the opening credits, but you actually, after the opening credits, would have thought, oh, this still has 2 hours and 40 minutes to go.
Yeah.
After the 10-minute opening credit.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So
you're right.
Even worse than the 50.
Well, I was like, oh, holy shit, there's still 50 minutes plus some more.
I will tell you a series of movies that this happens to me every single time I watch one, and that series is Transformers.
Oh, really?
Every single time I watch a Transformers movie, they don't click with me. There's too much going on in any Transformers movie, and I feel there's always a point where I feel exhausted.
Yeah,
and I'm like, this needs to be wrapping up, and I'll pause and I'll go, oh my god, there's so much of this movie left to go.
I think it's the lens flares that really tire you out.
It's everything. It's the sound design. It's the lens flares. It's the terrible dialogue of robots yelling at each other all the time. And
yeah. I think it's great. Okay. And Shia LaBeouf should be cast in more movies.
I agree with that. Actually, no, he's also pretty terrible. But entertaining.
We've just discussed. If you haven't reached Tom Cruise level of villainy, then I feel like you can keep getting butt. He's the benchmark. He's the line.
Yeah,
okay. If you cross that line,
are you better or worse than Tom Cruise? Harvey Weinstein, obviously worse.
Far worse. Yeah.
What about Joss Whedon? He's had some allegations against him about perhaps being a bit power trip and telling people to get him fired.
Which is bad, and people it seemed to really affect people. But again, I think Tom Cruise is
probably worse
because he captured his wife
escaped
She had to escape him. Like, honestly, he set the bar really high.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
you're right. Because you need to say to society, if you're willing to accept Tom Cruise, then you must be willing to re-accept Joss Whedon or someone,
Yeah. I think that should be like Joss Whedon's campaign to come back into the movie. He's like, not as bad as Tom Cruise.
Okay, that is now an interesting conversation about Ezra Miller. Right, so Ezra Miller, they've been doing some stuff.
Yeah.
Amazingly, in the lead up to their big movie, it's cost $200 million.
Yeah. What? So what, he abused his wife? Is that right?
No. Ezra Miller. So they
No.
went on a bit of a, let's say, a crime rampage in Hawaii, continually getting kicked out of bars for fighting.
Right. Yeah.
And they're keeping reports like Ezra Miller's been in another bar fight. He threw a chair at someone. He hit this woman. All this kind of stuff. We're like, okay, clearly getting a bit out of control.
Yeah.
Then went missing and was giving updates on their Instagram. Had a lot of guns. Was apparently living with it was very cult leadery.
Yeah.
Had quite a few people living with them. In this weird facility or whatever. Has now stopped.
Yeah.
But it tends to be I don't know whether it was some kind of weird drug binge that became
that's kind of what it sounds
a lot of fighting, a lot of abusing people, possibly who knows what's going on with these people that he was living with all these guns, though it had the air of perhaps not as consensual.
Here's what I think.
Yeah.
If it was up to me, cancelled.
Yeah.
Well, it's not up to me.
Yeah. Because is it as bad as Tom Cruise? Because did the family have to escape them?
Yeah.
Possibly.
Maybe.
We
don't know.
Time will tell on Ezra Miller.
Yeah.
Whether or not they are as bad as Tom Cruise.
I'm eager to find out.
We look forward to finding out. But again, all of this was coming out and everyone's like, Ezra Miller, man. I don't know. And then that trailer for The Flash came out. Yeah. Everyone went, that looks pretty good, though. That looks pretty good.
Pretty good. I could be willing to forgive.
The day that came out at the Super Bowl, I reckon everyone's opinion on Ezra Miller softened.
Yeah. They were like,
they need help.
But he's not as bad as Tom Cruise, is what everybody thought collectively. Cambo, I want to tell you the film that I think is good, the positive version of this. Oh my God, there's still 50 minutes left.
Go.
It's an older movie, 90s I'm going to say, True Lies, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Okay.
That movie goes on forever. Yeah. And there are so many
as is the James Cameron special.
Stories within this entire movie. Isn't there like 4 plot lines? It seems like, I don't know. It's like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And you're just like, this movie keeps going and I'm loving it. There's 50 minutes left. Oh my God, it looks like they've wrapped up a plot and yet there's another one unfolding.
He hasn't even got in the jet yet. Yeah. That happens. Yeah. If you're a younger viewer and you haven't seen True Lies, which I think is a maybe oft-forgotten James Cameron film.
I think so, yeah.
And if you don't think you'll see Arnold Schwarzenegger on a horse through a shopping mall, you're wrong.
Or smack 2 dogs' heads together. Is that in trailer, right?
I think so.
I think this is like in the first scene. He's got dogs chasing him. Spoilers. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, but it's so good.
If you have no opinion on Jamie Lee Curtis's sexiness, watch True Lies.
Yeah,
you'll be swayed.
You'll be confused. I think
she's pretty sexy.
That's how I came out of that film. I was like, I wasn't sure. Now I'm confused.
It's pretty sexy.
I feel like she's had a bit of a comeback, do you reckon?
Yeah, she's in Everything Everywhere All at Once, and she's Oscar nominated for that.
Yes. And she was in Knives Out.
Yes, she was, yep.
I was like, she's a great actress, too. Really good. Anyway. That was my review of Jamie Lee Curtis. Okay, but let's move on to Today I Advice. So now it's time for Today I Learned. Today I learned. And also sometimes advice. This advice is by Throw-Not-Supen. Throw-Not So Open. That's what it is. Yep. I've already read the story. And then, anyway. Okay. My 28 female. Husband, 31 male.
Thank God we know that information.
Thank God. Wants me to cut ties with my best friend, 28 female. Because she is now in an open marriage.
See, okay, if they had have said, like, me, 28 male, husband, 30 male, wants me to cut ties with my best friend, 89 male. You're like, interesting.
I
am interested now. There's perhaps more to this than I was expecting.
Yes.
But we know that the friend is the same age.
So not going to be super crazy, I suppose.
I mean, 28-year-olds can be crazy, Nelson. It's 2023 after all. Okay, so husband wants her to cut ties with her best friend.
Yes.
But sorry, what was the last sentence?
Because she's now in an open marriage.
The friend is, yeah.
Yeah, friend's in an open marriage.
If anything, you'd be like, Stacey's like, oh, my friend's in an open marriage. They want to sleep around. I'm like, bring her around more.
Well, I'm so interested to know more. Maybe while you're out one day.
Okay, so obviously a moral objection to an open marriage.
Yes.
Right.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because I feel like this is going to spawn those types of questions. How would you feel about this sort of stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. I, 28 female.
Good, thank you.
Have known my best friend, Sammy, 28 female, since our freshman year of college, about 10 years.
Yep.
I'm married to Mark, 31 male, and Sammy is married to Tom, 30 male. Mm-hmm. Mark and I have been together for 4 years, married for 2 years, and Sammy has been with Tom for 7 years, married for 4 years.
Yep.
Do you know, I think it's funny sometimes that we'll hear a story and we'll be like, oh, there's so much like context we're missing.
Yeah.
And then other times like this where I'm like, this is irrelevant to the story.
Sorry, how long have the second couple been together?
Oh, been together 7 years, married for 4.
Okay, yeah, interesting. Yep.
So second couple together longer.
Yep.
Sammy has been having a very difficult time for the past couple of years. Mm-hmm. She had discovered that Tom had been having numerous affairs, both before and after their marriage, and was in the process of getting her ducks in a row to leave, finances, lawyer, etc. She had even secured an apartment with her family's help and was about to move when Tom was in a very bad accident and was severely injured. The accident was entirely his fault. A one-car accident while he was driving drunk.
Oh, okay.
On the way back from seeing one of his affair partners, no less.
One of, okay.
Out of compassion, Sammy decided not to leave Tom while he was recovering from his injuries, both because he was on her health insurance and because he needed a lot of help with doctor's appointments, physical therapy, etc. Just by the way, if you've gone to the extent of getting an apartment to leave somebody, I don't feel like you need to stick around while they've been injured that badly. Mm-hmm. They've probably got family or something or whatever.
They've got multiple affair partners.
Multiple affair partners. The next door neighbor. Who gives a shit? Leave that son of a bitch. Mm-hmm. Since then, Tom has had numerous surgeries and isn't yet able to work because he is still recovering his energy and mobility. In the meantime, Sammy is working 2 jobs to replace Tom's income and pay the portion of the medical bills not covered by insurance. Fairly early in his recovery, Tom admitted everything he had done and said he wanted to change and repair things with Sammy, and Sammy thought she owed it to him to try. However, she discovered a few months ago that although he wasn't having physical affairs, he had been continuing to have sexual conversations and emotional affairs with women online. At this point, Tom admitted that he wasn't wired for monogamy and suggested an open relationship. Okay. Sammy didn't really want this, but again, felt she owed it to Tom not to divorce him until he was recovered enough to work and support himself, probably another year or so. So, she reluctantly agreed. She hasn't gone on dates or anything yet, but is thinking about starting to try to meet some new people. My husband Mark doesn't believe in open marriages and thinks that marriage requires monogamy and that anything else is cheating, even if the married couple fully agree otherwise. He wants me to end the friendship with Sammy because she is now a cheater, in his view, and thinks she will influence me to cheat or want an open relationship as well.
Okay.
I think this is extremely unfair. Sammy didn't ask for this and is only trying to make the best of a bad situation, and she hasn't even dated anyone yet. The alternative would be for her to either suffer while Tom continues to have affairs or divorce Tom now and leave him without a home and insurance before he can take care of himself again. Okay. Mark is now... Wait, there's one last thing. Sorry.
I just have so many opinions.
Yes, that's good. Mark is now saying this is a deal breaker for our marriage. Whoa! Okay, you know what? I didn't get to this part when I read it myself. And that I have to choose between him and Sammy. I feel sick over this because I made vows to Mark. Sorry. I just think that's nonsense. But I don't think Sammy is doing anything wrong under the circumstances, and she needs her friends more than anything right now.
Okay, this did not go where I thought it was going to go.
Yes.
At first, I thought, okay, he clearly doesn't like open marriages and thinks like it's immoral or whatever his mindset is, so he doesn't want to be friends. But then he started explaining this situation where this poor woman is perhaps being gaslit or something to stay with her husband. And I thought, oh, so his problem is going to be, we've tried to help this woman. Yeah. And she doesn't want to listen to us, so we need to cut her off.
Yeah.
No. I was right.
No. Yeah.
That is just some weird subtext. That they're context, not subtext, that they're provided. It is because he doesn't like open marriages. And he thinks they're cheating.
Yeah. That...
You could almost not explain the situation with her husband.
Yeah, that's true. Should have done that.
Yeah. I mean, it helps us understand because obviously we think that she should leave that man.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Okay, let's start with this question. What do you think of open marriages?
I think, okay, so for me, because this is what I thought about, is like, sex for me is not big enough of a thing, a desire for me to want to have an open relationship. Yeah. Because to me, it's like, it's secondary to the relationship itself.
Yeah. The relationship is better than sex.
Yeah, that's right. So I don't to me, I don't see them. I guess if both parties are open to it, then I guess good luck to them. That's fine. If that's what they want to do. Yeah. To me, I would really struggle with that if Ellen was like, "Oh, I want an open relationship," and because I would see that is breaking that other part of the relationship. You know, just not just the sexual side, but like the, you know, that kind of breaks some of the emotional side of the existing relationship. But if other people can separate that totally themselves and like, whatever, then like, that's fine, I suppose. That's cool.
Yeah, I feel the same. I feel like they can work and they do work for certain people. I think there's 2 red flags with open relationships for me is when it's a fix. Yeah. Which this one sounds like it is. Yeah. Like he keeps cheating, so we're going to try an open relationship if that makes any better. Yeah. I don't know if that ever necessarily works.
I didn't think that. Actually, do you know what it's read on Reddit more times than you would think? Is a guy that's like, I convinced my wife to have an open relationship. Now she's sleeping with so many guys. And I super regret this.
Yeah.
Like, I think that that's the part, right? Like this guy who's sleeping with other women or whatever, he would obviously be like, yeah, I'm going to love this because I can do what I want without stinking around.
Yeah.
But he probably hasn't thought about the consequence of like his partner sleeping with other people.
Yeah. What they mainly say is, I want to have an open relationship. Not us have an open relationship. And the other one is you do sometimes. I watched a Louis Theroux documentary one time about polygamy. Mm-hmm. And I would say it was probably 50-50 with couples that were completely open and they were both on the same level.
Yeah.
And relationships where one of them clearly wanted the open relationship more than the other.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that one works long term either.
Yeah.
Because I think the other person's like, well, I mean, I'll do this to make it work, you know?
Yeah. That's so bad.
Yeah.
That to me is like, that seems like a really important moral that you have that you shouldn't break for somebody is like, because obviously you're like, well, I love this person a lot. And if that's what makes them happy and I don't want to lose this person, then I should. But I feel like that's just such an important moral that it's like, you can't have both. If that's how you feel, then you can't actually have both those things. It just won't work.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's strange. I can't quite get it or understand it or whatever, but it would be really interesting to just speak to a couple in an open marriage and just be like, how does everything work?
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We constantly distrust each other. Did you unpack the dishwasher? Did you? I think that's what it would come down to.
Having sex with someone else. Anyway, the reason I asked how long they've been together, by the way, is because there's the concept of the 7-year itch.
Oh.
And they've been together for 7 years, which is they say around 7 years is when, if there's going to be infidelity, that's when people start getting the 7-year itch to be like, you know, have I got all I can get out of this relationship? And that's the real test.
Yeah.
Is the 7-year itch. But it sounds like this guy had been cheating for ages. So.
Are you saying that Tom Cruise was just making sure Katie Holmes didn't have that 7-year itch?
Hang on. Should we find out how long they were married?
Because if it was exactly 7 years, I think we know.
Even if they were married 10, she probably felt it at 7.
Yeah, that's right. And he's like, "Oh, I'll lock you up." Just a reminder, we've all forgiven Tom Cruise for some reason. Oh God.
Okay, how long were they married? 6 years.
Oh. He was getting ready.
She didn't even make it to the 7.
No, it's because she was coming up to 7. And she's like, I think I might explore options. I might escape now.
My option is getting the fuck out of this marriage and compound.
Yes. Okay, we should move on. Before we do, I think we should agree that Sammy and the person writing this post should leave their partners.
Yeah, for us.
Yeah, we're open.
Yeah,
we are open to an open relationship. Open to open relationship.
Yeah, we need to quickly have a conversation with our partners.
Yeah. Well, we don't want them to have their open relationship.
Yeah. Okay.
To be clear, we want their open relationship. Anyway, let's get into shower thoughts.
Shower thoughts, shower thoughts, shower thoughts, shower thoughts.
This shower thought was by Taryn and Celeste, but it was cross-posted to us by Gone Emotionally. Parents in the habit of filming and posting videos of their kids ought to make a habit of doing the same for their own parents with the stories they often tell. They won't be around forever, and someday it'll make treasured memories for your kids.
Maybe your parents should have thought about that when they were younger, and it's on them. And if they're forgotten forever...
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think if I were to film... Okay, let's just draw some parallels here, right?
Yeah.
if my niece and nephew was to tell me a story, oh my God, I was babysitting them Friday night. And honestly, some stories, I don't know where they started or ended because it was very confusing.
At points, you need to be like, what? Where's this going?
Yeah. So I need to like constantly ask clarifying questions like, how does this relate back to the original story?
And by then they've changed again.
This is one of the stories that I heard. My nephew was speaking about this guy, a kid at his school that got pushed over and then started bleeding. Sounded like he cut his lip and then had to go to the hospital to get stitches. That part of the story took, I reckon, 20 minutes.
Oh, no.
And then my niece they needed to have parts of the story each that they told. My niece's part of the story was, I wasn't there. But I was really close to where it happened. So, like, I was here, okay? And then, like, around the corner here, like, they were there too. And then I saw him in the sickbay later because I was with my friend because she wasn't very, very well. I was like, oh, boy, this is not an interesting addition to the story.
This story is very long-winded.
Yeah.
And I don't know where it's going and if it's going to be worth it.
Yeah.
You know what movie you guys would love?
Yeah.
Have you seen Tar?
Tar is right up your alley. But anyway, and so the thing is, my niece and nephew, they're like cute enough for me to be like, okay, I'll continue listening to this story and try and piece it together for your sake. My mum, on the other hand, in her 70s, does the same sort of thing where she's telling a story and she's forgetting some of the information and then she comes back and then she'll be like, tell me about like the kids of the person that she's talking about in the story. And I'm like, do they have anything to do with this? And she's like, no, I just like thought that would be interesting for you to know that, you know, because like they went to school with your brother Stephen. I'm like, I don't care. Why?
It reminds me, there's a James A. Caster routine that he does.
Yeah.
And at one point he says, whenever an older person is telling a story and they mention the race of the person, I always have the same thought. Oh, hope that's important later in the story. It never is.
Yeah.
It's like this guy came in, Chinese guy. It's like, wasn't important.
Anyway, and I just think that no one's if I had to film those two scenarios.
Yeah.
My mum, as much as I love her, not as cute as a young kid telling a story that's losing track.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to be like a treasured video later on.
Look, I don't have kids, so maybe I'm just ignorant to this. Do people film their kids telling stories? I thought they filmed their kids like doing things.
Oh, yeah, maybe that too. Well, I could film my mum doing a crossword, I suppose.
That's what I mean. If your parents are doing dope shit, film it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
If my mum can do a 360 kickflip,
yeah,
I'll film that and show the kids later on.
Kids going down a slide, exciting. Parents going down a slide, also exciting. I'd film it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very rarely, though.
Yeah.
In fact, sometimes there probably has happened, but with the kid.
Yeah.
And
why do parents think that you remember and then care about people that you went to primary school with?
Yeah, I know. Nobody cares.
I saw my mum not long ago, and she said, I'll use his for real name. Why not?
Yeah.
She goes, do you remember Dylan Trevorrow? I was like, their name rings a bell. And she like walked me through it. Like, remember, they lived on this particular street, and their mum like worked here. And I was like, oh yeah, Dylan. Yeah, I remember Dylan. She goes, yeah, his dad died. I was like, what? I barely remember Dylan. I do not know his dad. It's very sad, but like, why are you telling me this information?
Yeah. My mum had the same conversation the other day.
About Dylan Trevorrow?
Yeah, she knows his dad. No, just about like, somebody I went to primary school, not friends with at all. She was just telling me that the story was that they still own the house that they used to live in. That was the story. That was the story.
You know that situation, nothing's changed.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting, Mum, yeah.
Oh, that's good. I mean, even if
that's the most mum thing in the world, isn't it? To lead you down a path, to jog your memory of all these things, to tell you that nothing's changed.
I mean, honestly, even if it had changed, they're not living there anymore.
Seems logical, yeah.
So ridiculous. Anyway, I don't need to film my appearances on all this. I think
we're good with the level of filming we do.
Yeah. This is... Yeah, okay, let's move on. Yeah. It's podnapping.
Oh my God, I'm being podnapped.
Podnapping.
This is Podnapping, where we nap a pod. We take a topic of conversation or a segment from another thing, and we do it ourselves.
It's my week this week. And I thought I would present an opportunity.
Ooh.
Because obviously we hate doing podnapping. But if we can make money from podnapping, I'm talking about making passive income.
Oh my God, that's the dream.
Passive income is the thing that all the worst people on the internet are talking about.
Yeah. And
selling your courses on passive income.
And they're like, oh my God, it's so easy. Passive, you don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, look, we have to do a little bit, but it's minimal. Mm-hmm. And it's in the entertainment realm. Obviously, the hot topic in passive income at the moment, and something we've actually used a couple of times on our show, is AI.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I thought, how can you do AI entertainment?
Okay.
And I discovered there is a piece of AI voice synthesizer that is very good at doing rap voices.
Oh.
So I'm like, how do we do bespoke entertainment for people?
Okay.
So what I did is I went to one AI and said, write me a rap song about said subject. And then I took it to other AI and said, make the rap.
Oh, okay.
And then I asked people for what they want raps about.
Yes.
So
in our Discord, right?
Yes. To give you an example, I created one first as a test, and I gave it the request to write me an Eminem rap song about this podcast. And then I fed it a little bit of info, like a sentence or two.
Yeah.
So I'll show you that as a context of this is Eminem rapping about our podcast.
Okay.
You is Marshall, and I'm here to say, let me tell you about a podcast. That's what the play. It's called Reddit on Reddit, hosted by Nelson and Campbell. They talk about the latest trends and threads. They dive into the subreddit drama and news and share their thoughts and views. From LIT to TIFU, they cover it all. They'll make you laugh and have a ball. Their chemistry's on point, they pass off each other. You won't find a better podcast. They're like bread and butter. So if you're a fan of Reddit, this one's for you. Check out Reddit on Reddit. It's dope and true. Nelson and Campbell, they're the real deal. They make you feel what you really feel. So don't miss out, give it a listen, and you'll see what this podcast is simply kicking.
There you go. It's a bespoke bit of entertainment.
They'll make you feel what you really feel. Man, that's deep. That is deep.
Yeah.
It's so funny because, like, obviously it's got these, like, cadences of Eminem perfectly, but, like, not at the right time.
Yeah.
Like, the little bit of, like, yelling kind of, you know, like yelling a couple
it's
words,
like
but then, like,
line.
softly. It's like, it doesn't make sense. But that's pretty good. I've never felt more cool about this podcast.
Yeah. You got a name check for that?
Yeah.
And I actually like, there's a bit where he says, we're like bread and butter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
That's good. Plain. We go together, but we're plain.
Plain and mainly white. Yeah. So I started asking people what they want to hear about. And then I've made raps using other prominent rappers that I think that they might want to hear about. Okay. I was actually with a friend of mine when I came up with this, and they occasionally listen to the show. And they had said, oh, well, you should do one about the Montague Street Bridge. It's a thing that comes up on the show every now and again.
Yeah.
Melbourne Bridge, truck slam into it all the time.
Yeah.
So I thought, all right, there's a Jay-Z in this thing. Maybe I'll do a Jay-Z song about the Montague Street Bridge.
Yeah.
I got AI to write it and then AI to rap it, and this is how it came out.
The bus driver jailed over the Montague Street Bridge crash could soon walk free after a win in the courts.
Listen up, Melbourne, I got a story to tell about a bridge in your city that's been through some hell. Montague Street Bridge, yeah, you know the one that trucks keep smashing and buildings become under. The bridge's been hit so many times it's hard to count the damage it suffered. That's what it's all about. A lot of us all know to avoid it like the plague. But those truck drivers, they just won't engage. Now I ain't saying truck drivers are dumb, but if they keep hitting the birds, they're gonna become a symbol of this stuff. Honestly, inability to see that Montague Street Bridge that they for truckers spree.
Appeal judges have quashed his conviction, ruling the father has suffered a substantial miscarriage of justice.
There you go.
That was actually really good. Oh my God. Did you edit in those clips?
I put the
okay,
clips in,
yeah,
yeah.
cool. Because I was like, that is next level. I trolled the
I also put the beat under the rap.
Right,
It
yeah,
comes
yeah.
out as purely just a rap.
Just that.
So I
Yeah,
put
okay.
beats under all these.
Oh,
yeah.
that's good. That's good. Yeah.
So again, a little bit of work, but pretty minimal.
Yeah.
Essentially, if you can match the BPM, the beats per minute,
Yeah.
you're pretty good.
You've got it. That's all rap is, guys.
that's
It's
all rap
so
is.
easy.
And then the brilliance of the internet is I just put in like royalty-free Jay-Z style beats,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
they just had them. So that's great. Anyway, yes, I did put it on Discord asking what people might want a rap about, and we did get a few suggestions here. So CN, he wrote it. He said he wanted a rap about ordering a pizza, and then every time a car drives past, you look out the window to see if it's the delivery car.
Yeah.
But it never is. So I thought, well, you know who would rap about this? It's Tupac. Obviously. Yeah, obviously. And here's the thing. When I was in
Not
there...
Biggie Smalls? Come on, man.
when I was in there, when I put it into the AI, I said, write a rap song about this. It actually had a section that said, this bit is a sung chorus by someone else. I was like, oh, okay.
Now I
I
have to
looked
get
at
that.
the AI and it's like, oh no, we have a thing that can make a synthesized singing voice. And I was like, I'm dubious about that.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'll leave it to you whether or not you think the singing voice
Okay.
worked.
Oh, no.
So this is Tupac singing about ordering a pizza and waiting for it to arrive.
I'm up to some grown gotta satisfy my craving. Thinking about a pizza, top and stacked high, no debating. Pick up the phone, dial a number, place my order with precision, and tell him what I want, no need for raving.
Waiting for my pizza, watching every car go past. Some message delivery died, all in my mind last night.
Minutes feel like hours, anticipation's growing strong. Fingers tapping, heart racing, can't but acting dog. Finally, I hear the sound that I've been waiting for. Jump up from the couch, run to the door. Open up the box, inhale that heavenly smell. Mouth starts watering, it's time to dig in and give them hell. Savor each bite, every flavor explodes on my tongue. This pizza's the real deal, can't believe what I've just begun.
There you go. There's Tupac singing
Yeah.
about ordering a pizza and waiting for it to arrive.
Yeah, it's pretty good. That's pretty good.
See, you can see the benefit now of someone wanting a specific song.
Yeah.
And then we can just do it for them. It's not a problem.
Obviously you have to pay.
Yeah.
Us.
Yeah, it's not cheap.
There was minimal work put in, and that's
It's the knowledge.
Time is
that's
money.
that's the what you pay for. The knowledge that how we can do this.
Yeah.
Though I did explain it at the beginning. I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
I got one more here. Hallie also wrote in, and Hallie suggested quite a few topics.
Okay.
Babysitting, a child losing their favorite toy, seeing a bad movie in the theater, no more parking spots, joint pain, and getting a flat tire. So hopefully there's some rap gold in there. I thought, you know what? You can have all of them.
Just whack them all in.
So I thought, who would relate to this? Snoop Dogg, obviously. Yeah, this is classic Snoop.
Dogg. Yeah.
So this one is slightly longer. They're all about 50 seconds. This one's
Yeah.
maybe like a minute and a half.
Okay.
Because Snoop's going to rap about all of these things for you.
Yeah,
Hallie.
that's fair enough.
Just here.
You hit you, boo Snoop. Got a few stories, gonna give you the scoop. About babysitting in some trouble we got into. And some other stuff that's gonna make you go. First up, this kid lost his favorite toe. I tried to calm him down, but he was just a bull. Cried and cried, didn't know what to do. But I found that toe, and he smiled so true. Next, saw a bad movie in the theater. Wanted to leave, but we were both asleep. Sat through the whole thing, it was a real bore. Wish I could've got my money back and more. No more parking spots, it's such a pain. Circling around and around the game. Gotta find a spot that is nowhere to be found. So we walk all over town. Jump pain is a real struggle. Gets worse as you get older. Man, it's a trouble. I try to keep it moving. Stay in the game, but sometimes it's hard and I feel the pain. Lastly, got a flat tire on the way. Pulled over to the side, didn't know what to say. Cut out, changed the tire, got back on the road. Smooth sailing now, it's all good, let's go. So that's my story. Hope you enjoyed. Gonna take a break now. Gotta fill the void. Peace out, your leg. Catch you on the flip. And don't forget to always take care of your whip.
Did we just see a glimpse of the ghost behind the machine?
I think
he
so.
talked about needing to fill the void right at the end.
I love that he says, anyway, I got to go fill the void.
Yeah, that seems like...
No, I also love that he called a car a whip.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's good. That was actually really
Anyway,
good.
that's a new exclusive offering that we have where we can write you a bespoke rap song from your favorite artist as long as they're on the list that I found.
Yeah. No Jack Johnson or anything, cool like that.
And as you can hear, the singing works perfectly.
That was a mess.
Yeah.
No, that's really good. That's really interesting. Good job. Man, I gotta start using AI more. Actually, I did in my next Podnapping. A little bit, yeah. I got stuff to do today, so
Let's wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up.
Okay.
We'll do the AMAs next week.
Yep. Yeah, we do have a few now. Yeah.
But if you would like to write it into us, you can do so. Reddit podcast, readit podcast at gmail.com. You can also research us at Facebook, Twitter, and our subreddit. They're all readit podcast. We would also appreciate if you could subscribe.
Yeah.
And maybe this last bit of the show should be wrapped from now on.
Mate, I've got a rap to take us out.
Oh, do you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, without further ado.
Anyway, rate, subscribe. That really helps us.
Whatever. I don't care. I mean,
Anyway, this is the second verse from Eminem. Read you
Thanks,
later.
and we'll read you later.
Listen up, let me in another verse about a segment that really gets on their nerves. It's called Podnapping and it's not their style. They hate it so much it'll make them go wild. Nelson and Campbell, they are the OGs, the longest running Reddit-based podcast. That's no tease. They've been around 4 years, they've seen it all. In their chemistry and banter, it'll never fall. They love to read stories and talk about trends, but Podnapping, that's where it is. So if you're thinking of stealing their content, be ready for their wrath. It won't be a compliment. Reddit on Reddit, it's the real deal. With Nelson and Campbell, you know it's for real. So tune in every week and you won't regret. This podcast is simply the best you can bet.